Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. I hope everyone has had a great day so far, as always. Just before we get into tonight's video, make sure that you are, of course, smashing that like button. It really does help get the video out there to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. We're so close to hitting 3K now. Honestly, it's completely free for you to do so. Just hit that subscribe button. It will really help me out. Hit the notification bell so that you're always aware of when I'm uploading and going live. And of course, get all your thoughts and opinions on this video into the comment section down below. We're here to preview the playoffs, just as a whole, really. And Leeds United's chance in it, how I think maybe the other leg will go between West Brom and Southampton as well. And, ultimately answer the question on, do I think Leeds United will win the playoffs? The interesting thing about the playoffs this season is that none of the four teams are in form at all. Obviously, West Brom and Southampton obviously picked up wins on the final day. Obviously, Southampton did against us. But obviously, we lost to Southampton, and Norwich were beaten by relegated Birmingham City. But obviously, the context needs to be applied that before West Brom's final day victory, they'd lost their last three. And before Southampton beat us, they had also lost their last three. I think Norwich have only had one win in the last 5 or 6. We've only had one win in 6 games. And, as I've already touched upon, the other teams are not in great form either. So it's quite hard to call as to what is probably going to happen. Now, obviously, I am going to do a preview for the Norwich game, obviously, on Saturday. So I won't go too far into detail on what I think will happen and a score prediction. I'm just going to kind of predict, who wins each leg and ultimately who wins at Wembley. But, it'll be interesting to see how each team approaches the playoffs. Obviously, West Brom and Norwich kind of both really had to go for it on the final day. As the 6th spot especially was not 100% confirmed. Obviously, if Hull City had have beaten Plymouth, I believe they would have got in there because Norwich got beat. So, we're kind of lucky that Hull City didn't break in there because I thought they were arguably one of the best performing teams to come to Ellen Road. And weirdly, they've sacked their manager today. They've sacked Liam Rosenior, which I find absolutely bizarre. But yeah, they kind of had to go for it in the final day, whereas us and Southampton, you could kind of tell, especially once we knew that Ipswich were in the lead and that they'd gone up pretty much. Both teams in that second half at Ellen Road just kind of didn't really go for it. They kind of just took the foot off the gas a little bit in preparation for the playoffs. I think, neither team wanted any of their star players to be injured or suspended, anything like that. So there were no risks taken from either manager, really. And like I've said, the result against Southampton wasn't, yes, it wasn't ideal, but I think if we'd have performed a lot better and at least showed some fight and stuff like that, I think we'd be all feeling a lot more confident going into the playoffs, even though we got beat. But because we got beat, and in my opinion, completely outplayed by Southampton, a team that we could potentially be facing in the playoffs at some point, just doesn't bode well for me going into it. And there really does need to be a mentality switch in the Leeds United camp. There's been rumours of like a rift in the dressing room. I don't know how true that is. It doesn't feel like it's that. I think there's just been, for whatever reason, there's been a massive drop off post international break. But I guess to switch in a bit of a positive, none of the other teams are coming into it in form, like I've already said. So we're not the only ones. And, we kind of just need to forget about the season now. The season's done. And, it's like a new tournament, this now. It's a new small season, I guess. And, we are potentially 3 games away from the Premier League. And when you say it like that, it does sound, it's real. The stakes are very much high now. And I hope the players realise that. So my prediction for the playoffs is as follows. We'll start with the West Brom Southampton tie instead. I believe. Look, I want West Brom to come through it for obvious reasons, but what I truly think will happen is that Southampton win that tie over 2 legs, and I think Southampton will be playing at Wembley in that final. As for us and Norwich, you see, I've been adamant since Saturday that we won't get past Norwich, but that's if we play like we have done for the last 3 or 4 weeks of this season, then I don't see us getting past Norwich over 2 legs. However, if we can get back to how we can play, and if there is a bit of a reset in mentality and we just go again fresh, then I do think we can get through it. So I'll be honest, I'm not 100% confident in saying this, but I am going to say that I do think we will get through it just. But that first leg on Sunday is massive. It's massive. If we lose that first leg, I think it's done personally. So we need to either have a win or a draw going into Ellen Road for me, and then I will be confident. So yeah, I will say Leeds United get there. Not 100% confidently, I can't lie to you, but if we can get back to how we can play and the football that we've seen for the majority of this season, then I do think we'll get past Norwich. We've beaten them twice in the league this season, albeit in 2 very close games, but we've still managed to get the job done, so hopefully that can be the case again. And then obviously the final at Wembley, us and Southampton. Obviously they've done the double overs this season, quite comfortably in both games as well, which doesn't bode well, and it's not ideal. It could be the case that, in a one-off game, totally different circumstances, a lot more at stake, that we go out and do it. My concern is that Wembley is a bigger pitch. A lot of the players in our team probably haven't played at Wembley ever, or haven't experienced a pitch that big, which could lead to fatigue throughout the game and injuries in the game if certain things happen. So, do I think we can beat Southampton? Absolutely. I know they've beaten us twice this season, but like I've said, if we just get back to how we've played for the majority of this season, I think we can beat anybody on our day. We've proven that by doing the double over Leicester and Ipswich, who have both been promoted. But I have to be brutally honest here. Look, like I've just said, we can beat them. We can. If we get back to how we can play and how we have played for the majority of the season. But to caveat all that, I just think the performances against Southampton this season are too much in my memory now, which is why I'm going to say that if we get to Wembley against Southampton, I think Southampton will win. So that's basically me saying that I do not think Leeds United will win the playoffs, which is hard for me to say. I can't lie, that it's not an easy thing for me to say, but it's just my honest opinion. Do I want us to? Absolutely, and it would be one of the greatest days of my life if I'm at Wembley and I see Leeds United win at Wembley. But I just think if we play like we have done against Southampton both times this season again, I think we'll just get found out and we'll get completely outplayed like we did on Saturday. It really impressed me how Southampton moved the ball about. Everybody knew their positions, knew their roles on the pitch, and we just looked levels below them. But, like I said, playoffs, it's a fresh mindset. We go again. If we're comfortable over 2 legs against Norwich, we'd be full of confidence going into the final, whoever we play. Obviously, I would prefer West Brom. I think I'd be more confident coming up against West Brom. But Southampton, yeah, I do think we would lose, which is unfortunate. But I am definitely here to be proven wrong. But yeah, like I say, guys, really hope that you've all enjoyed this video. I just thought I'd come on and just give my brief thoughts on the playoffs as a whole. I'm kind of excited for it now. I think I'm a bit intrigued just to see how Daniel Farke and Leeds United set up over 2 legs against Norwich City. And if we get to the final, that is a different kettle of fish, which I'm sure we will cover if and when that happens. So yeah, like I said, hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, please smash a like on the video. It does help get the video out there to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new, and please help me reach 3K as soon as possible. Hit the notification bell, and as I said, get all your thoughts and opinions on the playoffs into the comment section down below. Not sure when I'll be back now, guys, but obviously there'll be content coming up over the next few days. Hopefully, as we build up to the first leg against Norwich. But enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.